अखंडमंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनं शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरात् गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। Namaskara. First, Namaskara to Jagat Guru Siddharam Swamiji of Naganur Mutt, Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh, the principal of the institute, who is here, other dignitaries who are in front of me, and my good friends who are also with me. Unfortunately, beyond Namaskara, my Kannada is very bad. I can understand fully. If Swamiji said, I think I understood mostly. So, hum Angrezi mein bolte. Yesterday I spoke in little Hindi, but let's talk in English. I think most people understand Swamiji. Now, Swamiji said some things. You might have read the autobiography. Even after reading the autobiography and reading the newspaper reports, Swamiji also spoke just now. With all that, please don't have any idea about me except that I am like you. I am a human being standing before you. I have to breathe for my survival. I have to eat. I have to sleep. And I was also born from the womb of a mother, like all of you have. And one day I will end my life on the same earth from which I came. That way, we are all human beings. Now, this is the message of the Manava Ekata Mission's Padayatra, that essentially we may be belonging to this profession or that profession, this religion or that religion, this ideology or that ideology, but we should not forget that we are human beings. This is the most important. In fact, it is not my new philosophy. It is only old wine in new bottles. All great teachers have said this. Please do not forget that you are human beings. Your thinking may be different. You have the right to believe. You have your own beliefs, your own private faiths, your own ideologies. But let us not forget the fact that we are human beings. And let nobody make us forget this fact that we are human beings. Let nobody turn your mind. Think that ultimately we are born from a mother's womb. Nobody falls from heaven. And we end on this earth. That itself proves that we are human beings. Then we have our good points, we have our weaknesses. Everything is there in human beings. The idea in spiritual life is that you have to increase the good points and cut down the weaknesses. This is sadhana. Sadhana need not necessarily be sitting down in one place, which is required. Without spiritual experience, whatever act you do will turn out to be selfish. So therefore that is required. But once you touch that, the idea is to share it with others. This is very important. Babaji told me when I was meditating in a cave near Uttarkashi, that if you meditate for 24 hours, for 30 years in this cave, when you come out of the cave, you don't hear the cry of a hungry child. All your 30 years of sadhana is waste. कोई फायदा नहीं है इससे. Because the effect of meditation and spiritual understanding is not to contact angels or travel in your astral bodies and things like that. That has become a big business nowadays. But the function of spiritual practice The essence of spiritual practice is that you develop compassion and love towards other fellow human beings. When Swami, in Belgaum, Swami Vivekananda came and stayed here. Once when he was traveling, actually in some part of Maharashtra, he got the news that one of his close friends had died. Swamiji held that man's hand. He was unknown at that time. It was only after he went to the West and came back that everybody started hearing about Swami Vivekananda. He was anonymously walking around. But wherever he went, people recognized his greatness. So when this was announced that some close friend of his has died, he held his hand and started weeping loudly. So that person said, "What is this, Naren? You are supposed to be a sannyasi. Why are you crying like this? You are unattached." He said, "Did I work for so many years to make my heart into stone? Is that the qualification for a sannyasi?" So, one of the results of spiritual understanding is that you stop hating anybody, hating anything. Give love and affection to others and consider all humanity as one whole, W-H-O-L-E, not H-O-L-E whole, W-H-O-L-E. Now, if this doesn't happen, I don't think we have any function for this spiritual practice. But the basis has to be there. I understand that. Because otherwise, we may do social reforms, but we are not stable inside, and we can never turn unselfish. Babaji taught me many things. I learned many things. I learned different forms of sadhana. And then he said, "Go back. Stay in the world and talk to people." So I came back. Once I told Babaji that I am your dog. So he said, "Go." So I said, "All right." When I said I am his dog, he said, "Dum zyada mat hilana, don't shake your tail." So I try as much as possible not to shake my tail too much. So this is what I am. Now, when Babaji sent me home, there were two things which he wanted me to do. One is to go within and understand one's true self, which is the light of the universal self. It's not different. It's not only me, it's also you. And two, he said, transfer that into action for doing good to others and convincing people that we are all one. These were the two tasks given to me. The first task I did for many years, because I was still not complete when I left Babaji. It took me years of sadhana to kind of understand little bit that there is a all-pervading light which is in everyone. Not as if it is fixed somewhere. Even though the Upanishad declares Angushta Matra, that is only as a form of symbology to understand the fact that in your heart lives the Atman. But not that the Atman is located anywhere. It's there probably in every cell of the human, animal, any living being. And it's part of the whole thing that controls and pervades the cosmos. As the Upanishad says, Isha Vashyamidam Sarvam. There is nothing where it is not there. Now to understand that, purification of the mind is essential. You cannot touch that without purification. You cannot do any breathing. Or, see, the blacksmith's bellows also breathe, like Kabir Das said. They have no life. A pure, good life is essential. For a long time, I was not aware of these wonderful happenings that took place in the 12th century in Karnataka. Then, as I started traveling through Karnataka, starting with the different mathas and meeting Swamijis and getting the vachanas, then I started to realize that the teachings are already there. I don't have to bring anything new here. But people, whether they understand and follow it or not, I don't know. That remains, we can't pass a judgment on that. If you would only follow that, simple rules. What simple rules? I can say it from the Vedantic point of view. I am saying because we are standing here in Karnataka, where in the 12th century Basavanna started a movement, which I became aware only slowly, recently, that this has happened here, where he said, lead a simple life. Don't steal what belongs to others. Ma gridha kasya svidhanam is from the Upanishad. Whose wealth is this? It's not yours. It belongs to everybody. Then, don't kill. There are two ways of killing. Babaji told me, one is to actually kill somebody. The other is killing people with words. Sometimes that hurts more. Somebody thinks he is wise and you tell him, no, you are a fool. Finished. His life is spoiled, at least for 1 hour. Now that hurt is not easy to remove. It's very difficult to get rid of. You can get rid of it only when you realize that in this vast universe, you are only a speck of dust. Compare. You are nobody. You are zero. So why are you upset if somebody calls you a fool? Suppose I don't know English language, what is it? Simply one sound, fool. So we give meaning to words, then we carry it in our heads, and then we get upset if it is broken. Why have meanings for this at all? Live it. Lead a good life. Don't hurt others. And don't give way to your emotions running your life. And of this, anger is one of the biggest things. When you are angry, you are mad. You don't know what you are doing. I was reading some translations of the Vachanas recently. This great man, great yogi, Basavanna says, if you are angry, it is like setting fire to your own house. First you burn. The other fellow may not even burn. The neighbor's house may still be intact. It is your house that burns. So, yama niyamas are important in this life. Of which not to cause injury, not to steal, not to tell lies, not to act in falsehood and not to hurt others. Considering oneself as the littlest, the smallest of the small. Because only when we become zero, there is space to receive the light. Otherwise there is no space. We are filled up with so much rubbish and rubble that even if the light wants to come, there is no space. You have to become zero. We are so full of prejudice, we block everything out which we think is wrong. It may not be wrong. So if this process goes on side by side of emptying ourselves, making ourselves into a small zero, then we'll probably understand the big shunya. It's called shunya not because it is nothing, but there are no words to describe it. That is why it's called. If we had words to describe, we would have given it some description. In fact, in the Upanishad, when the Rishi teaches the truth of the Upanishad, he says, na vigmo na vijanimo yadhay tattva nushishyat. I cannot understand how to teach this to you, something which cannot be defined. Yad vacha na abhyuditam, which words cannot describe. So for that, humility, clear mind, truthfulness, non-injury, and of course sadhana is required. Just as we do eat our food, the soul also requires food. So therefore you have to set up a time when you can sit down and do your whatever prescribed sadhana there is. Because through that the mind becomes quiet and there are internal glands in your system which get activated. And for that there are various sadhanas prescribed which you have to learn from the teacher. Side by side, your activity in day-to-day life should be such that it obeys all these principles. Can you believe it? Someone who says lies 24 hours a day, wanting to find the ultimate Satya, is this possible? I say lie every day, 24 hours. I want to find the ultimate truth. This is not possible. Every day I keep killing. I want to find peace. Is this possible? So we have to be practical on these matters. So therefore, this walk is also two-pronged. One is the outward yatra, where we go and meet people, ground level, villages, everywhere. We go to mathas where already religious teachings have been established. Students we interact with and tell them, please do not forget that you are human beings. Don't let anybody persuade you to think that you have come from Mars, you are from this earth. And the other is the internal journey where you should lead a good life, do your sadhana, and figure out how it reflects in the outward life. Believe me, the truths which are given in the ancient textbooks can be experienced actually by human beings. But they should get ready to lead a proper life and to practice without being discouraged. That's all that is required. It's not as if somebody wrote some things long ago under the influence of ganja and left it like that. These are all experiences which they actually had, spiritual experiences. They can't come through the use of drugs or any such thing. They can come only through the purification of the mind and the body. And all the sadhanas, Swamiji was talking about Hatha Yoga. All these are meant basically to purify the body and purify the mind, after which you have to practice what is known in yogic terminology as Raja Yoga. Simply by reading the theory that you are part of Brahman is okay, it's a theory, all right, but how to get there? Through practice. So Raja Yoga, in fact, in the south also, in Tamil Nadu, there is a particular branch of Raja Yoga which is also called Shiva Raja Yoga. Well, most of the centers are located in this area. So, this is what we are trying to do. When I meet people, I tell them there are ways by which you can touch the inner. When I meet people, I tell them there are ways by which you can better the outside world. If both of these go hand in hand, humanity will be very happy. And I think this message of unity going from India is so very important. Because in this country from ancient times, everybody has been welcomed with open arms. Nobody has been said, go, you are not part of it. In fact, it is such a big ocean that so many different streams go in and you cannot actually make out which stream. So therefore, if this message goes from India, which is why I am walking, you must understand, I am 66 years old physically. Yes, because of my yoga and because of my diet and because of various practices, I am not feeling weak. I am not saying that. Still, this body is 66 years old. Is this the time to walk from Kanyakumari to Srinagar? No. Practically you would say no. But I am saying yes. Why? Because it is Babaji's Agya and I am fulfilling it. So I am sure by some way, by God's grace, we will reach Srinagar. 2016 April we hope to reach. After reaching there, we will know whether it is possible. Whether the walk of hope is fulfilled or not, we can't tell you right now. From what I have seen till now, it looks like the breeze is blowing with the fragrance of unity. That's what I feel. We are sowing the seeds. Hopefully after some years, a tree will grow. If it is properly watered with follow-ups, and then we'll have lovely fruits and beautiful flowers which will carry the scent of human unity, love and affection, first in this country, and as the Vedas have said, Loka samasta sukhina, also to the outside world. Thank you very much, Swamiji. Thank you, friends. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.